What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. If you're here before, I'm Naya Mushroom. We're going to play some Modern on MTGO. Real quick announcement. It's not going to come into effect for a little bit, but once standard RCQ season starts, which is, I believe, either the end of December or the beginning of January, we will be introducing some standard paper and online gameplay to the channel. I'm still going to be focusing on mostly Modern, 60 to 70%, because that's my favorite format. It's the deepest format. It's very cool. But I play a lot of competitive Magic, and we're going to kind of follow the RCQ season as it goes, which means we probably won't see too much Pioneer next year, if the schedule that WotC released on Twitter is correct. I have no clue if that was a typo or not, but they haven't said anything to my knowledge, so if anyone learns anything, let us know in the comments below. I'm playing a weird deck. This is Living End, a deck I normally wouldn't touch unless it was like doing super well and maybe needed some attention, but here's a 5-0 list that I found from the deck drops. Let me see if I can find the player's name to give them credit. NIU Wade 001. If that means anything to you, this is one of their lists. This is Living End, but we are not playing Shardless Agent, nor are we playing Ardent Plea, now that Violent Outburst is banned. Let's go through this list because it's kind of weird. We're starting with 4 copies of Incubation Incongruity. We can't even cast the Incongruity side, so we're going to ignore it, but it is a 1 mana for either a green or a blue. It's hybrid. You can look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal a creature card from among them, put it into your hand, and the rest on the bottom in a random order. We got a lot of creatures, and a lot of those creatures cost less than 3, which is normally not a thing you can do in Living End. But one of those creatures that we're playing is Bloodbraid Marauder. It's a 2-drop that has Cascade as long as you have Delirium. Ways we can get Delirium: we're playing Overlord of the Balemurk, who is both an enchantment and a creature, and fills your graveyard up very quickly. We're playing for Psychic Frog. Psychic Frog can pitch cards. It's really cool. And we're playing for Fear of Missing Out, which has a rummage effect on Enter the Battlefield. So these cards all turn on Delirium. Also, they share a converted mana cost with Bloodbraid Marauder, so you cannot cascade into them. Same thing with Incubation Incongruity. You cannot cascade into this, as it is a 4-drop, and it's both a sorcery and an instant, which I believe helps with Delirium. Outside of that, we're doing some weird stuff. We've got 4 Archons along with some Cyclers, and 4 Persists, which also can't be cascaded into, to go with our Living Ends. And then we're playing 3 Flare of Denials and 3 Subtleties. The Flares, I imagine, are just for when you have a Frog in play, or a Halo Forager, we'll get to that in just a moment, or a Subtlety, and it's just free permission for any blue decks that want to stop your game plan. We're also playing Halo Forager, which this is old tech from Rhinos when it first got spoiled. When it enters, you can pay X, and when you do, you may cast an instant or sorcery with mana value X from a graveyard without paying its mana cost. Living End doesn't have a mana cost, so it's just free. That's the main deck. The sideboard is full of sideboard cards. We got some Magebane Lizards, One Rings, Inevitable Betrayals, Consign to Memories, which we can cascade into, so I think we got to be careful about when we bring those in. And we're playing some Mystical Disputes. The deck looks insane. It's unhinged. It's all over the place. But we may or may not have recorded at least 1 game in paper with this deck, and I want to take it through a league just to feel it out. So let's hop into a Modern league. All right, we found our first opponent, and we're on the play, which just has to be so good for us. So we'll take the play, and let's check out this opener of Incubation, Overlord, Falls, another Incubation, and 3 more lands. This does seem kind of weird. I'm not sure if we're necessarily supposed to keep a hand like this. That said, we can get Delirium online like that, and the Incubations can be used to find our Marauder, and the Overlord of Balemurk can hopefully fill our graveyard. So our opponent didn't reveal a companion. We have no clue what they're on. I think we're just going to keep this and actually lead on Island and just cast the Incubation. The way our hand's set up, we might not even play the Thundering Falls. We'll have to see how it develops. Another line we could take is just drop Thundering Falls tapped and see what our opponent does, but I just think you're supposed to cast your spells in a deck like this, so we're going to do just that. All right, we are off to the races. Island, tap for blue, cast... we'll use a blue, and we'll cast Incubation. All right, there's our Bloodbraid Marauder. We've also got the option to take a Psychic Frog. We're not going to take an Archon. That seems insane to me. Of these cards, which would I rather have? That's kind of tough. I think I'm just going to go out on a limb and take the Bloodbraid Marauder, since we're already 3 cards deep for Delirium. We've got land plus instant sorcery, and the Overlord's going to be an enchantment if it doesn't resolve for some reason. So it seems like it should be trivial to finish Delirium. I'm just going to take the Bloodbraid Marauder and pass the turn. Island, pass. Okay, we are playing against the blue deck. My turn, untap, draw. We're probably going to fetch Shock for a Blood Crypt. We draw another Incubation. That's like fine, but I still think we want Blood Crypt. Let's fetch. Let's grab Blood Crypt and shock it into play so we have all of our colors of mana. And then let's drop Overlord. Can you stop this? I do not believe you can spell snare this. It resolves. Okay, Overlord triggers. I'm going to flip 4 cards. Yes, I would love to use the card's ability. I can take back Psychic Frog or Troll. We're just going to take Psychic Frog. And a quick check of our graveyard shows us we have creature, land, instant, sorcery. If that is in fact how the how split cards work, I'm going to check that before I actually do it. But I think we can just cast Bloodbraid next turn if our opponent taps out. Also, the Overlord is going to trigger on end step. So after 5 end steps, this thing will be a creature, which in Modern is usually pretty slow, but our opponent led on Island and then didn't do anything, so we'll see what happens. Our opponent cycles Striped Riverwinder. It looks like we're playing against Living End, so that is interesting. I think we need our Leyline of the Voids for sure. All right, on tap, upkeep, draw. FOMO. Okay. We can just drop a Psychic Frog and attempt to just load our graveyard up, so if our opponent does Living End, it's good for us. That said, we got to be careful because their graveyard, if they cast Living End next turn and go cycle, their cards could just be better than ours. So I think we also want to cast an Incubation so we can pitch it to the frog. So we're going to open up on just playing the frog. Our opponent cycles Curator, sure. Ooh, they're going to Subtlety us. Okay. I think with the Subtlety, we're supposed to put the frog on the bottom. Now, if they go to Living End us and they don't have a Force of Negation, we can Living End back. That said, yeah, I think I just want this Psychic Frog on the bottom of my deck. And then Subtlety goes to the graveyard. And then we are going to... Is it time to cast Incubation and Incongruity? Do we want to do that? Or do we just want to, like, play a tapped land and say go? And then do 2 things with our next turn. Yeah, I think we'll just play a tap land. I don't really feel the need to cast this spell right now. This is a nice little window to get it into play. Persist? I think we probably don't necessarily want the Persist. Let's put it into the graveyard, because I think we're just going to be like trading Living Ends this game. How strange that we get paired into Living End round 1. They fetch. Ooh, Lush Portico, sure. All right, I just did a quick Google search and it does look like split cards work the way I would like them to. All right, you're up, opponent. Let's just hope they don't have a Force of Negation. Then the game goes really south for us. Because they resolve their Living End, we try to Living End ourselves and it just doesn't work. Kind of tough. Oh, it tells me right here that there's 4 card types. Look at me go. I mean, opponent, your deck kind of does a thing. You should probably just do it, right? Shardless, you got it, buddy. I can't stop you. Get some creatures. You're going to get more than me. What 8 cards entered the revealed zone? We see Waker, Sink. It looks like there's an Endurance in there, but there's no Forces, which isn't great for us. So here comes the Living End. We're going to do a switcheroo. Subtlety comes into play. It can actually Subtlety the Shardless agent, which is interesting. All right. Now I can attack with Troll before I do anything. Because the Troll, it needs to be blocked by 3 creatures. And if they block, well, I guess, that's interesting. Because if I attack with Troll and they block with, like, let's say all 3 creatures, I can kill one of them. There's no way I can kill 2 because my Troll's only got 6 power. Then if I cast Bloodbraid Marauder and flip cards, they can just cast their Shardless agent the following turn, which is interesting. I think the first thing we want to do is just cast Incubation. Let's see if we can find an extra piece of action. Archon? That's interesting. Triggering Archon a bunch of times seems pretty good. How can I set that up? I can lead on Bloodbraid Marauder. No, I can lead on FOMO and pitch it first. And then can I tank this attack? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But I can block with Troll, so I'm really only taking 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess I can. So I guess I could just take Archon of Cruelty. Yeah, let's take Archon. Everything else goes to the bottom. Then we will play our Fear of Missing Out, which has a looting trigger. Or it's actually a rummage. We discard first. So here's FOMO. This will let us get Archon in the bin, which is pretty good. So we discard the Archon. Boop. Then we draw Raucous Theater. And we could cast another Incubation, or I could just get my Raucous Theater into play tapped now. Let's just get the Raucous Theater into play tapped now. Take a Surveil, another Incubation. I don't think I want another one of those at this point. Put that into the bin, and I will not attack. I'm actually going to block, I think. Yeah. And then my Overlord's gonna grow even more. If we're able to win this game, I suspect it's because Overlord's ignoring these Living Ends, and maybe it lets me deal exactly lethal. Although I don't think I'm in the best spot right now. Looks like they're just getting busy for 7, which seems fine. I take 7. Playing my lands this way also lets me try to draw Flare of Denial for a potential counterspell from our opponent. Now them having Endurance here, I think just ends the game for us, but that is what it is. We'll take a draw. Undercity Sewers, that doesn't help us very much. We could... I can't think of any creatures that Incubation would grab us to make our position a little bit better. Let's see, FOMO, Subtlety, Halo Forager. Yeah, there's really not a lot. So instead, I think it's just better to jam out the Marauder. Probably attack with Troll of Khazad-dûm first. Although, I guess I have Delirium, so FOMO can give Troll the ability to attack twice, and that's 12 damage. Okay, let's go to combat. Hiya. And FOMO has to attack, right? Yep, hiya. FOMO on tap Troll. Alright, you can block the FOMO, which will come back when I Living End if it resolves. That's a big if. Alright, go to damage, you take that much. We go back into combat, we attack for 6. Alternatively, we could not attack, just in case they can counter our Living End. But then where does that put us? Die in the next turn? No, we play to win. Attack for 6. Hiya. All right, they go to 5. We're going to our second main phase. Now we're going to cast Bloodbraid Marauder, who cascades. Yes, I would love to cast Living End. Do you have an Endurance or a Force? Commandeer doesn't do the trick. They cycle. Okay, sure. This all happens. You cycle to Tanithrex. Curator does its thing. Getting a Trapple counter on the River Winder is not great for us. Did you find a thing? Alright, they didn't find a thing, so Living End resolves. Then Archon and FOMO both go on the stack. I don't think it matters too much what order they go on the stack in. Alright, FOMO triggers. I'm going to loot, so I'll just pitch one of those fetch lands. Then Archon triggers. Our opponent's going to go to 2. We're going to go to 13. Now when they Living End, I can just persist my Archon. There's my Bloodbraid Marauder. Now here, I'm fully expecting my opponent to Living End us. So there's a chance, yeah, I'm not supposed to play this frog, but there's a pretty good chance I'm supposed to cast Incubation. So let's do that. Tap for a blue and cast Incubation. Subtlety, Marauder, Archon, yada yada yada. I think we just take, maybe we just take Archon, play Scalding Tarn, and then play frog. So if they Living End us, we just pitch Archon. Do we have the lands to get frog into play is the big question. I think so. We haven't seen our Steam vents yet. So yeah, let's take Archon and then play our land out, fetch, and grab Steam vents, shock it into play, and then tap for black and blue and play Psychic Frog. Okay, opponent, you're up. And then the Overlord's gonna lose its 4th time counter. So them casting Living End, they don't know this, but if they don't have any like endurance or anything, their Living End will kill them because it's going to reanimate Archon and put a trigger on the stack. All right, the Shardless Agent Cascade trigger resolves. Before Living End resolves, we're going to pitch Archon to the Psychic Frog, and then Living End resolves. All right, Archon and Subtlety both come into play and put triggered abilities on the stack. The Archons matters, the Subtlety not so much. I think this is just game, yep. They die. We got pretty lucky there to find enough Archons to get the job done. How do we sideboard here? Okay, I am unsure how to sideboard. Here's what I came up with. I know we want 3 Leyline of the Void. It stops our opponent's game from gaming. We also want like maybe 1 to 2 Mystical Disputes. I don't really want to bring in Consign to counter their Cascade triggers. I think we just want to fight on the same level they're fighting. I'm trimming a bunch of 1-ofs. 1 Halo Forager because of their endurances. 1 Living End because they're going to be casting Living End, which we can use to our advantage. 1 Overlord, 1 Fear of Missing Out, and 1 Incubation Incongruity, just because we're a combo deck and I don't want to like lose a bunch of anything, so we'll just trim around the edges, is my thinking. Submit. All right, let's take a look at this opener. We've got a Living End in our opener, which is not ideal. We've got Overlord, Incubation, FOMO, Flare. We can actually use FOMO to put Living End in the graveyard to flash it back with Halo Forager, so that's a thing this hand has access to. As far as colors go, if we fetch shock for a Watery Grave, we've got colors for everything in our deck except for Psychic Frog, which is not ideal. I don't know if I love that. We also don't have a pitch for Flare. I think we're going to pitch this for something a little bit more consistent. All right, this one's got a frog. I can cast the frog. We've got a Leyline. We've got good mana. I'm not going to have a turn 1 play so I can pitch the mountain. We're going to keep this. Pitch mountain. Done. Pre-game action. Leyline of the Void. Good luck, opponent. A forest? Sure. All right, me on tap, me draw. Another FOMO? Sure. Here's an Undercity Sewers. What's on top here? Flare of Denial? I don't know if that's what we want yet. We're actually going to put that into our graveyard. If we had like another blue creature in our hand, like a Halo Forager or something, we could plan ahead a little bit and plan to use that Flare of Denial to our advantage, but I just don't think we have enough resources. We don't really want to sacrifice a frog when we don't even have a Living End set up right now. Shock and Breeding Pool, you got a Foundation Breaker or something? Yep, there's the Breaker. So there goes our Leyline, unfortunate, but we can hopefully unscathed get this frog into play. Now, if they have like Subtlety plus Living End, we're probably on the outside looking in here. But that's just the nature of playing Living End and playing against Living End. All right, take a draw. There's our first Living End. We do have the frog to pitch it. So let's go ahead and play a Scalding Tarn. Let's just fetch shock for a Steam Vents. And I'll just play Psychic Frog. Hopefully they don't have Subtlety. I need black out of that and blue out of this. There we go. Froggy. All right, they do have the Subtlety. That said, I think I'm going to put this back on top. If they living end us here, we're probably just dead. But if it takes them a little bit longer, we can frog, and then in response to a living end, pitch our whole hand. So I think we're still putting this on top. Tippy top, your subtlety goes to the bin. Your turn. Green, blue, looks like they're not casting living end. It's Waker of Waves, sure. They play a Meticulous Archive tapped, so the likelihood that they have a Force of Negation kind of low. Pitch a Mystical Dispute. All right, let's hope their hand isn't blue card, Force plus Cascader. Then I think it is just game over. Here we go. I'm gonna go black, blue, frog number 2. All right, that one resolves, pass. Now, unfortunately, their living end's still gonna be better here. We might even just pitch, no, we need to pitch everything. We want to do everything we can. So we're going to let this resolve. And then in response to that, we're going to discard Overlord of the Balemurk and Fear of Missing Out. We're playing kind of into an endurance here if they have it, but I think that's just what we do. I want to get all of my sauce. Discard a card. This one, living end resolves. All right, your board is better than mine, but I get an Overlord of the Balemurk trigger and 2 Fear of Missing Out triggers. Ooh, Foundation Breaker unfortunately takes out the Overlord, which isn't great. All right, I'll put the Overlord trigger on the stack first, followed by 2 FOMO triggers. All right, my triggers resolve first, so I'll pitch living end to draw a card. Ooh, Flare of Denial. There's no creature on the stack, so I guess we're just gonna... Yeah, I don't have a blue creature to sack either, so I'll just discard Flare of Denial to draw another card. This one's Incubation Incongruity. This triggers Overlord of Balemurk. I would love to use the ability. We've got Psychic Frog, Subtlety, Subtlety. I think we're just gonna take a Psychic Frog. All right, Subtlety resolves. You gonna put Shardless Agent back or no? Foundation Breaker kills my Overlord. I forgot about it being a downside sometimes that Overlord is a enchantment. Here comes the Shardless Agent. And now we're here. Pass to me, untap, and take a draw step. What creature could I possibly be looking for? I've got 5 card types, so I probably just Incubation looking for a living end, right? I can do it twice. Not a living end, but the Marauder. Blue, Incubation, cast. All right, I guess I'm just taking an Archon. Let's go for it again. All right, this one doesn't have it either, but I did put a living end into the bin, I believe. I did, so we take Halo Forager and hope to top deck land. Seems not unreasonable. Pass to you, opponent. We're obviously going to pop off all the blocks we can. We'll block Shardless plus Waker of Waves. But if we miss land here, we're just dead anyway. Play to your outs. Funnily, our FOMO actually lives through this Shardless because it is a 2-3. Now it's only a 1-3 because of the Waker, though. All right, my turn. My turn. Draw. We're definitely dead here. We do only play 16 lands, so perhaps hoping to draw the land was a little bit ambitious. That said, do we want to change anything about our post-board game? I don't think so. I think we're fine with this, especially being on the play. Maybe we want like another living end. I'm not sure though. No, we're just gonna ship this. All right, here we go. I'll play. We've got a 1-lander with a Leyline. That's tough. Incubation can technically find us a land drop with Trolls and the red dude, and I can open up on a Surveil. Surveiling and fetching, that's going to put land plus instant sorcery in the graveyard with Incubation. I've got a Mystical Dispute plus a Leyline. I'm going to keep this. It's really risky. If I didn't have the Leyline, I wouldn't keep this. I'd do like anything with 2 lands or a land plus a Cycler. But since I already have the Leyline of the Void, I feel like gambling. I'm going to keep. Maybe don't try this at home. If it pays off, try it at home. If it doesn't, learn from my mistake. Confirmation biased at its finest. That's what we do here. Opponent mulled down to 6, which is fine for us. We're going to reveal Leyline, showing that we also mulligan to 6, kind of. And then we'll play a Polluted Delta and just pass the turn. Which Surveil land are we going to get, I think is a pretty big question, right? It's probably just supposed to be Thundering Falls. That way I can have Bloodbraid Marauder mana and Mystical Dispute mana. So we'll do that. At your end step, fetch, go get Thundering Falls. 1 time for the 1 time. Love to see it. We'll put that right back on top. And on tap and draw. All right, the first thing we'll do is cast Incubation. And if they want to like Mystical Dispute this, sick. Brooding Pool, we shocking? We're shocking. Recycling, or are we gonna dispute this? Nope, it just resolves. Okay, so we've got Archon, Subtlety, Oliphaunt. Well, we definitely want our 3rd land drop and to get a creature into the graveyard because we need Delirium for Bloodbraid Marauder. And if our opponent has some interaction, we want to be able to flash back the living end with Halo Forager. So I think we just take Oliphaunt. Yeah, that seems right. Oliphaunt, and here's an Undercity Sewers. Trigger. Overlord of the Balemurk does just give us Delirium on its own, so we'll put that into the graveyard. And now we have 5 card types. You're up, opponent. Next turn, we simply, I think we got to go for it. We just cycle the Oliphaunt for some land, put that into the graveyard, then cast Bloodbraid Marauder, trying to put in enough power to overwhelm our opponents. And if it doesn't work for some reason, we can Halo Forager. All right, my turn. Another Overlord, sure. So we're going to tap this for blue, and we are going to Mountain Cycle the Oliphaunt. Probably just getting Blood Crypt, make our mana yummy. Play Blood Crypt, shock it into play, cast Bloodbraid Marauder. Red, black. Trigger Cascade. This gets beaten up pretty bad by a Force of Negation, I suppose, but we got to do our thing, right? Cast Living End without paying its mana cost, please. Endurance, sure, that happens. We like seeing a pitch cast Endurance while we have a Leyline of the Void in play. So Living End is going to go to the bin. The problem here is that no other creatures will be there. They're all in my deck again. So we're going to have to start reloading with cards like Overlord of Balemurk first, holding up Mystical Dispute, which is pretty good. And this is a 3/1 that can't be blocked, so it's like not a meaningless clock. Pass to you, opponent. You draw. Meticulous Archive tap, sure. Pass to me. Ooh, looks like they don't have the answer for the Leyline. Maybe they've got a Besiege You and they don't want to give us the land right away. That's possible. Me take draw. I'm just going to do things after combat, so we'll go to combat and attack for 2. Or 3. Sorry, Bloodbraid Marauder, sweet. Take the damage, drop to 14. Go to second main phase. Let's tap for, I don't know, what land do we want to keep up? A blue land. Let's say Thundering Falls. We'll go blue and black, and impending the Overlord. Overlord triggers. I'm going to use the ability. Psychic Frog plus Archon. We like Archon just hanging out in the bin right now, so we'll take a Psychic Frog. Then from there, do we want to get a 4th land into play? I think so. Yeah, let's tap for a blue and Mountain Cycling the Oliphant and just grab a Steam Vents and shock it into play. And you're up, opponent. Ooh, impending, loses a counter. Love to see it. Otawara, sure. Cost blue, blue, and white. Is it Teferi? Surely you're not casting Ardent Plea. It's a Teferi. Okay, so let's try to counter it. They might have a dispute to counter back, but we'll see. Now the thing is, if they're going to bounce the Teferi, I wonder what they're even supposed to bounce here. The Teferi notably doesn't let me cast Halo Forager. Wait, does it? Halo Forager enters, you may pay X. When you do, you may cast target instant or sorcery card mana value X or less without paying its mana cost. Yeah, you have to cast it when you have to cast the spell off of the trigger, so I can't wait to cast the Living End at sorcery speed. Okay, looks like they're not going to cast Mystical Dispute on my Mystical Dispute. Okay, now what? Now I untap and hit you for 3 again? Play a Psychic Frog? Alright, go to combat, attack. Go to blocks, nothing, go to 11, go to my second main phase. I'm just going to play Frog. Blue, black. Here's a Frog. You're going to dispute this? Sure. I will not pay. All right, here's a Raucous Theater, trigger, Leyline of the Void. Do I keep that? I just put that in the bin. At this point, I don't even mind if they deal with my current Leyline. I'm so far ahead. Overlord loses a counter. We pass the turn. Looks like they're passing to us, which tells me maybe they want to flash in Subtlety, which would be interesting. So we're going to attack first, or even an Endurance would work. Yeah, let's go to combat and swing for 3. That way, if they want to Endurance or something, we don't waste a Halo Forager cast. All right, they don't do anything, which tells me I'm not going to extend anything but another Overlord of Balemurk, and I might just hard cast this one. Black, blue, black, blue, blue. Hard cast? A 5-drop in Modern, I guess? All right, there's a Subtlety. Sure. We are going to... What are we going to do with that? I guess we're going to put it on the top. Do we put that on the top and just recast it and race them? I think we're just going to impending it and try to Forager them. Yeah, okay, let's do that. Let's do it that way. Ooh, let me shrink myself a little bit so you can see the board just a little bit better. There we go. Top it. You're up, opponent. Balemurk gets closer, down to 2-time counters. I wonder if they attack us here. If they have another elemental, maybe they try to like pivot to being the aggressor. Nope, they just don't attack, which is fine with me. So I'm going to untap and attack for 3. No reason to Overlord first. Hiya. All right, they take a block, sure. Now, since they might have interaction for my Living End, I think it makes more sense to cast Halo Forager first. That way, if they have an Endurance, I can at least impending my Overlord of Balemurk. Yeah. Let's go blue, black, blue. Halo Forager. Looks like they have a second Subtlety. I guess they've only got 2 left in hand. I guess the Halo Forager is just going right back where I found it. And then we can just Overlord it into our hands. Sure. Let's go black, black, impending. And the turn after next, this 5/5 Overlord is going to be able to do its thing too. I would love to use the ability. I guess I can also just take a Bloodbraid Marauder as well, and that seems fine. Yeah, we'll just do both things. We'll just do this. This gets around them top decking Endurance. Then both of our Marauders lose a counter. Oh no, I think I messed it up. There's 2 Living Ends in my bin. So I guess now I'm just like relying on Overlord. That may have been a mistake in real time. We'll see what happens. Their clock isn't very fast. But my literal clock is melting as I try to figure out how to play this deck. I'm going to put the Overlord or the Bloodbraid Marauder on the stack probably anyway. because they don't know I've taken out one of my living ends. And it is just more clock. It go fast. Cycle Street Wraith, go to 2, sure. At this point, they have to be thinking about hard casting some creature, like a Curator of Mysteries. Tapped Hollow Fountain, yeah, you got it. Untap and draw. It's a FOMO. Let's cast FOMO pitching Archon, because there's no way we're going to be hard casting Archon. All right, FOMO resolves. We're going to pitch Archon. Draw Psychic Frog. We could also just drop this Psychic Frog into play and see what happens. Let's do that. Blue, black. Here's my frog. Then Overlord flips, and then if they don't have a way to handle this, it's just lethal on the swing back. You're up, opponent. 2 Overlords trigger. One comes into play. Well, it stays in play, stops being an enchantment. The other one goes to 3. What are they going to do? Flash and Endurance here? Another Subtlety, maybe? Force of Vigor, take out Leyline plus... Yeah, sure. All right, go. Looks like they're just passing to us. Me draw. Another Bloodbraid Marauder? Sure. I'm going to go to combat and attack with both creatures. Hiya. All right, FOMO triggers targets Psychic Frog, which can now attack twice. And I believe they have to block the Psychic Frog. Pitch both of my things to Psychic Frog. Damage. All right, go to the next combat. Attack with Frog. Damage, take you to 1. I draw a card. Subtlety, fine. Pass to you, dude. Tap for a blue, a white. What else? A Waker? Sure. Looks like they're just passing. I'm not sure what they can do here. My go. Me draw. Enter combat. Attack with both things. Trigger the FOMO. Target the frog. Okay, we out living end the living end deck. It only took me almost my entire clock to figure out how to do it. Well, that was pretty sweet. Let's get into round 2. All right, we rolled a 6. Opponent rolled a 1. Clearly it's a skill diff. We'll take the play. What's this opener look like? We got a 1-lander with a living end in it, a Halo Forager, and no way to procure a second land. This is ultimately not going to be good enough. If we had a cycler, we'd snap it, but we don't, so mulligan. This one's got 2 lands plus double flare, incubation, Oliphaunt. I think we keep this and just ship one of the Flare of Denials. We probably open on incubation. We keep. Yeah, let's open on incubation. We'll go fetch. Wait, no, we don't want to put that on the bottom. We got to put their card in the bottom. I almost mulliganed the wrong card. That would have been bad. All right, we're gonna go fetch shock for I think a Watery Grave. Watery, shock it into play. Let's just go ahead and get this incubation going. All right, we got Troll, Overlord as our 2 options. I think, do we ever want to find our 3rd mana? I think, well, we do have our 3rd mana with Oliphaunt. So maybe we just take Overlord as extra action. I think that's what we'll do. We'll take the Overlord and pass the turn. Misty, we going for a fetch shock? Just a fetch. Are we playing against like Frogtide? I wonder if that's probably got to be a tough matchup for us, right? Ooh, it's just a forest. What does that mean? Utopia Sprawl, yeah, why not? Could this be Titan? Not Titan, the other one, Eldrazi Breach. That's a opener you'll sometimes see from that deck. Okay, they pass to us, we draw. I think we're just getting Psychic Frog into play now. That seems to make the most sense to me. Yeah, we'll shock this in, make a frog. Blue, black, that's red, Adrian. There you go. Psyche Frog. How do we feel about that? All right, go. Our opponent's been on their turn for like or they've been on my combat. I'm trying to pass the turn for the last minute and a half, and I just wonder if they're stun locked that their opponent went fetch shock, incubation, into Psychic Frog. Taking Overlord of the Balemurk. Misty pass, nothing? Okay, I'll go. Me draw. It's an island. We have a natural land drop. We'll play that first, I guess. Go to combat. Attack for 1. Is that okay? Do we need to cycle this Oliphaunt? Do we ever want to make land drop number 4? I think for this first one, we're just not going to pitch. All right, frog triggers, we draw a card. There's a Halo Forager. I think we just want to get the Overlord into play. We could just also jam a second Psychic Frog. I can't imagine there's anything wrong with that either. Let's just jam a second Psychic Frog and see what our opponent's up to. And if, you know, they deal with it, we can hold up Flare Denial plus cycle Oliphaunt. Yeah, we'll do that. All right, what about a second one, opponent? All right, go. Hopefully they can't like deal with 2 Psychic Frogs. That would be detrimental. They fetch, assuming it's for a Surveil land. Nope, just a basic forest. Kozilek's Return, 2 damage to everything. Grow both of my frogs. I don't know, pitch Halo Forager to that one. Pitch Oliphaunt to this one, because I probably don't need to make my 4th land drop. Resolves. Okay, go. So I think this is some form of Eldrazi deck. I wonder if they're going to go Sowing Mycospawn next. If they do that, we surely just attack into them, right? Sure. Oh, it's the One Ring. Definitely not. Cast by sacrificing my tapped Psychic Frog. All right, my go. Take a draw. It's another Oliphaunt. Let's go ahead and go to combat and swing with the Psychic Frog. I think I'm going to pitch the Oliphaunt to it. Hiya. Take 3, trigger the frog, draw a card. It's Halo Forager. So there's a couple ways I can go about this turn, right? How big does this spell need to be for it to flashback Cosmic's Return 7 or greater? So they can actually do that. So with that in mind, I think I'm just going to drop my Overlord here. If they could flashback the Cosmic's Return, I could see it being correct to like save my cards to double pitch to Frog so it doesn't die to 5 damage, but I don't think that's a thing. So cancel. I want to impending this. Thank you. Trigger. I do want to use the trigger. All right, we've got Halo Forager, Archon, Oliphaunt, or another Psychic Frog. I think we'll just, at this point, pick up another Psychic Frog. Do we happen to spin a living end to the graveyard at any point? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, we'll just take Psychic Frog again. And then you're up, opponent. Ooh, you know, I guess this play does just put a card into my hand, so this still plays around flashing back Kazi's command. Malevolent Rumble in the Jungle, sure. Looks like they take an Eldrazi Temple, so they can play a 4-drop here if they want to. Not the One Ring, though. They're passing, so maybe they're holding up Kozilek's command. That would be problematic. There's a Bloodbraid Marauder, though. Let's go ahead and float this frog. Can I float this frog without losing access to my graveyard? Losing access to Delirium. I'm going to keep my graveyard up here if you all want to see it, because I think it matters quite a bit. We've got land, so we can easily get rid of a land. 2 lands even. We can get rid of 3 lands. Yeah, we'll just float the frog that way. Exile 3 cards. It'll be 1, 2, 3 lands. My frog can fly now. All right, we're gonna go to combat and attack for 3. I don't think we need to pitch a card. I think we can just hold what's in our hand. No, that said, I could just pitch Psychic Frog because I'm gonna try to living end this turn. No, I think I'm gonna be really safe and hold this frog. Go to damage, take 3. All right, me draw. It's another Archon, so now I can get really close to just straight up lethal. Let's pitch Archon to Psychic Frog and then just cast the Bloodbraid Marauder, hoping that they can't take me off of Delirium using Cozy's command. Oh wait, it's on cast, so that doesn't matter. Just trigger Cascade. And then I will cast the Living End, and that puts 3 Archon triggers on the stack as well as a Halo Forager trigger. Let's put them on the stack like this. All right, sack both your creatures, discard 2 cards, and then if they have like an All Is Dust, which I believe doesn't exile but destroys, I can just Halo Forager all my stuff back into play and that wins the game. There goes 1 Myco Spawn. I get a Subtlety, 2nd Archon trigger resolves. I get a Thundering Falls, then Halo Forager's trigger resolves. Can I pay 1 and flashback Blitzside? Oh no, I can cast Ancient Stirrings. I guess I can just cast it to get a colorless spell. Yeah, let's cast it. All right, we miss. Any order. Got it. Bloodbraid Marauder comes into play, and then we'll play Thundering Falls. Get a Surveil. It's a Subtlety. Well, leave it on top, actually. That's a really easy way to, like, still hang out if somehow our opponent's able to, like, deal with all of this pressure. Because the Archons are too big to get beaten by Cozy's Return, which is big game. Ancient Stirring? Sure. So I imagine they just want to One Ring us. That's, like, their way out. They take an Ugin's Labyrinth? Sure. I'm failing to see how they win unless they just already have the One Ring in their hand. Yeah, they just die. Okay, game 2. Okay, here's what I think we're going to try for this matchup. We're doing the weird thing of bringing in Consign to Memory, which is a Nabo with our combo. But it's so good in this matchup that we were just looking for it in the opener. And odds are still in our favor because we're going to be playing 4 Cascade or 4 0 mana spells after sideboarding. We'll get to that in a moment. But in addition to the Consigns, we're playing Inevitable Betrayal, which if you Cascade into the Inevitable Betrayal, you can, let's see here, drag this down to me. You can just look into your opponent's library and grab a creature and put it into play. And this Eldrazi deck plays a lot of big creatures, so I think it's going to be a little bit better than Living End most of the time, though I just want more targets for the ability, and Living End's going to have a bit of a target on its head because we're cutting Living End, Persist, and Halo Forager. We're cutting all those because of Kozilek's command, which lets them like extract things from our graveyard at instant speed. And we're going to cut an Incubation and Incongruity just because it seems like a decent spot to trim from, like you would trim a Consider. Okay, let's take a look at this opener. Our opponent's on the play. We have, we immediately have a Bloodbraid Marauder in our hand, so we need to think about Delirium. We have land going in there easily. If we resolve a Psychic Frog, we can also have up to Sorcery Creature, which is almost all the way to Delirium, and Bloodbraid is better in this matchup now that we have more things to cascade into, and worse because cascading into Consign to Memory is miserable, but I think that's a risk we're taking. I'm just playing the 75 that the architect of the deck played. We've also got Subtlety, nothing to pitch because we really want to play Frog, but in a pinch it can come up, and our mana's pretty good. We're just going to play a Raucous Theater on turn 1, probably fetch Shock for something to play the Frog on turn 2. I think we try this. It definitely wants some stuff, but we're on the draw against a deck that's not incredibly fast. We'd really like a piece of permission to be able to deal with a Breach in case that's the version of the deck that they're on. which I think is the second or the most common version of Eldrazi. Also, the Persist and Psychic Frog are a combo if we ever find Archon. All right, Devourer of Destiny goes into the revealed zone, so they're going to get to do that whole thing. Let's see what they exile. One Ring, World Breaker, Sowing Mycospawn. I imagine they just wanted to land. Misty, we gonna Utopia Sprawl? Looks like a yes. They picked green, so they've got green. That's fine. My go. Me draw. We drew into Inevitable Betrayal, meaning we're going to start to look for a Halo Forager as well. So we'll put Raucous Theater into play tapped. Look at the top card. It's an island. We do not want that. So now we've got land in the bin to start. And then we can put Sorcery in the bin using Psychic Frog. Subtlety using Subtlety. So we're just looking for one more card type and we can still hold the Persist. Eldrazi Temple. Are we ramping? Is it Sowing Mycospawn time? That's what this deck normally wants to do. If they go Sowing Mycospawn into Breach, we're super dead. Trinisphere. That blows for us, but if that was their whole plan, there are things we can do. All right, they pass to us. We untap and draw. We're not playing anything this turn, so we're definitely going to be surveilling. Pass to you, opponent. Malevolent Rumble for 3. Nice combo, opponent. Love to see it. They take Misty Rainforest. They play it as land for turn, and they're out of actions because their spells cost. Why did I hit 2? That was dumb. I just passed through my turn, so I didn't surveil. That sucked. But I guess we will not get super punished for it. We're gonna fetch Shock for a Watery Grave, and let's drop a frog. Frog time. Go. Commercial District. Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They can play like a 7-drop next turn. That probably kills us with the Trinisphere in play, so I can't like evoke Subtlety or use Flare of Denial. But hey, Trinisphere is good against this deck. Imagine that. Chalice funnily wouldn't be, because if you put a Chalice on 0, there's still like so much action in this deck. Sanctum of Ugin, sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Who's it going to be? Devourer of Destinies. Triggering the Sanctum. I assume they're going to sack and go get something cool. Had to take my hoodie off. I was getting too toasty. Yep, Psychic Frog is exile. I have nothing good to pitch to it at the moment. You have a 6/6. Pretty big. Something I could have done there. I don't know if it's entirely correct, but I could have pitched like Inevitable Betrayal to my frog. That could have been a route, just to put myself a little bit closer to Delirium for the Bloodbraid Marauder, but I think we still have just a little bit of time, depending on what their hand is. We untap and take a draw. Bloody Crypt. I wonder at what point we're supposed to like suspend our Inevitable Betrayal, right? Ultimately, I think we're not going to do that. We're just going to play Scalding Tarn and hold up Subtlety, and if they don't do anything, we'll fetch for a Surveil land. If we can get an Archon into the bin and they don't have Kozilek's command, we're still in like pretty good shape. Okay, attack for 6, ouch. But if we don't find anything, like this 6/6 will just end us in 2 more turns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They can make a 6-drop. All right, Sowing Mycospawn kicked. So it looks like we want to use our Subtlety. Maybe we don't want to use our Subtlety because we don't want them to do this again. That would be very bad. I think we're just dead. We'll let this resolve. I'm going to keep playing on the off chance I just like randomly surveil an Archon into the bin by Watery Grave. Hello, Sowing Mycospawn. End step. Fetch. Undercity. Archon, please. Not quite. Also, Persisting and Oliphaunt doesn't seem particularly good, but I don't want it in my hand. So we'll put that into the graveyard. And then we will untap and draw and probably concede. Persist. So we can persist the Oliphaunt. I guess we do that, right? Like we can maintain our life total for like a little bit longer. So we put Blood Crypt into play tapped, cast Persist, target Oliphaunt, tap for 3 because that's how much it costs now. And then that can at least trade with Sowing Mycospawn, or is it better to just block Devourer? Unclear, we pass. It's probably just better to block Devourer. That way if I can get another blocker into play, you can block it again if our opponent doesn't have anything. And we buy an extra turn that way. All right, they get him with both. We go to blocks. We will just block the bigger creature. Take 3, go to 7. Utopia Sprawl onto that. Yep, that costs you 3 mana. You got a ring? I'd concede to a ring here. All right, yep, there it is. Okay, we go to game 3. Don't want to change anything about how I did that. I think the consigns are specifically 4 cards, like the, oh, what do you call it? The Trinisphere. Maybe I'm supposed to like get one of my not an Inevitable Betrayal. Maybe I'm supposed to take out one of the living ends. I could see that being meaningful. Ultimately, I just don't know. Also, is this a 1-ring matchup is a big question in my head. I think I'm just going to run this back the way I have it again and see if it pays me off. The sideboarding for this deck is kind of wild. Like this deck is wild. It's just full of really strange selections, but it all comes together to like a really fun deck. All right, we've got an Inevitable Betrayal in our hand. Love to see that. We do have a Halo Forager and a Land Cycler. And FOMO can get Inevitable Betrayal into the graveyard. We're going to try this. We're going all infinitely deep. Okay, we aren't even going to surveil. We're going to cycle Oliphaunt at the end of our opponent's turn. Go ahead, opponent. They don't have a pregame action. Forest Utopia Sprawl, you got it. All right, Fetch Shock, Watery Grave. No, Fetch Shock, Blood Crypt, Cycle, get Watery Grave, Shock into play, FOMO, Inevitable Betrayal to the bin. Hope it works out. We're about to find out. Fetch. Let's go ahead and grab, we'll grab Blood Crypt, zap it into play, tap it for black, cycle the Oliphaunt, go get, we can't get Watery Grave, but we can get Steam Vents. Duh. My turn. Take a draw. We just need third land now for the Halo Forager. Okay, we found our third land, but we can't Bloodbraid our thing into the bin. I think we want to do this quickly and get some pressure into play. So we're going to shock, play FOMO. FOMO enters, we trigger it, we discard Inevitable Betrayal, draw a Living End. The second FOMO can make that happen. Pass to you, opponent. If we just like draw an on-tap land, I guess we can Betrayal our opponent and try to take one of their best cards. If not, we attack with FOMO and maybe play another FOMO out to get the Living End back into our graveyard, or just into our graveyard for the first time to have two things to do. It's definitely not doing anything in our hand, I'll tell you that right now. Fetch with Misty, sure. Commercial District, why not? Okay, they like whatever's on top. Utopia Sprawl again, sure. You got a red floating, what can you possibly do with that? That's to me? Okay, here we go. We hope, we pray. On-tap land? Tough. Very close to being an on-tap land. It's a Troll of Khazad-dûm, or however you pronounce that. I guess we play Raucous Theater, because if we get a really hot Surveil, we can get Delirium, right? Also, we could get Bloodbraid Marauder to function, and we can spin the wheel and see if we just find an Inevitable Betrayal. That seems stupid, right? Psychic Frog's cool, but I don't think we're casting it. We're gonna put it into the graveyard. Then we are going to, let's get we already got Sorcery in the bin. I guess we can get, nope, we can't even get the FOMO into the bin because it's already here. So we're just gonna go to combat. Or does it somehow make more sense to cycle Troll and have my fourth land drop for what? I don't know. No, we'll just make another FOMO. FOMO. All right, we will pitch we'll pitch Living End. Can't think of any reason to keep that there. There's an Archon. Go to combat, attack for 2. If they ring us, it's just falling apart. Also, if they breach us, it's falling apart. It's looking pretty grim if our opponent kept 7. I imagine they're able to kill us here. But our hand did look pretty sweet, and we'll see what they do this turn. Blue and that doesn't make any sense. Why would they name blue? I wonder what they're doing. Ugin's Labyrinth, do something for 6 mana. That seems like a lot. There's the One Ring, hate to see it. So I can't Inevitable Betrayal this turn because it does target the opponent. Draw a card off the ring, sure. Pass to me? Pass to me. All right, we'll take a draw. Come on, Consign. Not quite. Let's play Scalding Tarn and just pass the turn. No reason to do anything. Attacking doesn't do anything. We just need to hope they didn't draw gas with their ring. Draw 2, you got it. Rumble, sure. Looks like they can take another One Ring here and just like loot protection, which isn't great. Looks like they chose Sowing Mycospawn though. What does that mean? Can they kick it? Looks like they can. All right, you do your thing. That Sowing Mycospawn has all the sauce. All right, that is going to be tapped for blue, so I can Swamp Cycle Troll. I'll leave Undercity in there, so I'll just grab my basic Swamp. Okay, it's all gone. Okay, Bojuka Bog, that blows. All right, my graveyard's all gone. All right, I don't see how we win anymore, but we're gonna do stuff anyway. Starting with a Surveil to try to get some stuff in our graveyard. Now let's do Undercity Sewers. Trigger Archon to the bin, yeah. Okay, Migo, draw. Incubation would be a great draw here, actually. Persist is fine. Play Swamp, tap for these. Persist my Archon. Trigger the Archon. Draw Psychic Frog? That's also interesting. Do I want to can I Delirium myself? I can't. Let's just go to combat. Hiya, that damage. And then I can't think of a reason to not play my Frog. If they have a board wipe, they have a board wipe. That's just the way it is. All right, go. Tap to draw card, sure. Malevolent Rumble, okay. Do they not have another ring? I feel like it's just like jam ring pass. And then find something gigantic to kill us with. Like, I feel pretty good about our opponent's position. I don't feel like I can win. Especially, I guess with this Malevolent Rumble, yeah, they choose Devourer of Destinies. That's no good for us. Another Rumble? Do they think they need to draw a ring or they're dead? Is that true? There's no ring in here. How many card types are in their graveyard? That's an Emrakul. There's 6. Emrakul's 13. Yeah, they can't cast it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, they can, but it would take their whole turn. And I don't think they can sabotage me, or at least not enough for me to not kill them, right? It's gotta just be ring. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna cost them 7 to make an Emrakul, which will leave them with 1 spawn. Then they control my turn. Then what do? Just like attack my Frog into their Emrakul and it dies. Then I untap and swing with Archon and 2 FOMOs and they die because the Archon triggers. They go to 4. One of the FOMOs gets through. They go to 2 and then the ring kills them. I'm not sure Like, they have to imagine they just jam Ring here and win, but they passed up on a Ring a little bit ago this game. So I'm just assuming they have it. All right, there's another Uggin's Labyrinth, so now they can do like multiple things, I guess. They put World Breaker under it, sure. Oh, now I guess they have a billion blockers for my attackers. That makes sense. Okay, Emrakul happens. You take my turn. Would I like to pitch all of my cards at end of turn? I kind of think I would. Yeah, go to end step. I'm just going to pump this Psychic Frog up. What could they possibly do with my cards? I guess they could draw a Living End. Like, I could draw a Living End and they could cast it and take my board out. Yeah, let's pitch Halo Forager to the Frog for sure. And then I guess we're pitching everything to the Frog. I'm sure there's like a reason to keep either Archon or Bloodbraid Marauder, but I don't like that they can use the Bloodbraid Marauder against me if they have a very specific set of draws on my turn. So I'm just going to empty my hand to make it as hard for them to do anything as possible. And then you're up, opponent. It's our turn now. If I get Delirium, they're also just dead on the spot too, I think. No, not quite. They just have enough blockers, right? They have to swing my Frog into the Emrakul. The Emrakul blocks it. They probably don't swing with anything else. That would be stupid. And then I attack with everything. If I've got 2 FOMOs, I guess there's an Overlord of the Balemurk, so that's gonna give me Delirium. Unless they like stick me with it in my hand by attacking with Psychic Frog, killing the Emrakul, and I'm stuck with it. But then I guess I can play the Overlord of Balemurk, and that gives me a pretty good shot at Delirium as well. They also have 3 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock, so we'll see what they can pull off. All right, they pitch it to the Frog, so they're gonna allow something to have second combat. I guess that's good for them because then they can swing 2 things into the Emrakul. No, that wouldn't make any sense. Nope, they can't do that. They can, Emrakul is going to kill anything that it blocks, so they'd have to like take a hit. I'm too dumb to figure this out. Hopefully our opponent can do it. There's no way it's just attack with FOMO. You're face up dead to that. Our attack with Psychic Frog and FOMO. FOMO triggers, something gets a second combat. You can choose not to let it. Okay. Frog can untap and attack again. And then what? You take the damage from the Frog? Now what? You have to block with your Eldrazi spawn. Yeah, exile the bin, give it flying, sure. I think our opponent sees that they can take actions with the Frog and they're just doing it, but I don't think it's going to do anything. All right, it's got flying. Are you going to chump the fear of missing out with the Eldrazi spawn and then block with Emrakul? I guess this gives them their best chance. I get like 1 draw to sort it out. But I still have the FOMO, and the Eldrazi doesn't kill me in 1 swing. Oh no, I see. I see what they did here. That's really smart. They picked the Archon off of the FOMO. That gives them the ability to block the Archon. Of course, I drew a FOMO, and now they're at 4, so they're going to go to 1. And if they block my Archon here, and I'm able to reanimate it somehow, that's also good. So this puts me in a weird spot for sure, because the Emrakul eats both of the creatures, which is problematic. I guess like a removal spell of some type gets me out of this. We draw Polluted Delta, which we're definitely going to FOMO into the bin. You know, instead I could fetch, right? I can go Polluted Delta, fetch with Polluted Delta, go grab a Surveil land, trigger it, Bloodstained Mire going straight into the graveyard, black, red, FOMO, show me something good, draw Bloodbraid Marauder. That's not quite enough. I guess I can just go big and wide and hope they don't find another ring, right? How much mana do they have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So enough to cast anything, so I don't think I'm paid off for attacking into this Eldrazi spawn, right? Like they chump the Eldrazi spawn, they block the FOMO. That does put me closer to Delirium, which I think is meaningful. Let's go to combat. I'll attack with both, yeah. All right, you got it. And then go to damage. I have 3 card types. I can just play this Bloodbraid Marauder as a creature to try to keep getting through. I assume they just 1-ring me. Yeah, I'm just going to drop the Bloodbraid Marauder and see what happens. Maybe not. What can I draw to give myself Delirium? Incubation, Incongruity? Maybe that's like the line. Is there a chance to get Emrakul again? There's an Emrakul under here. Yeah, there is. I think I'm just going to play it. All right, Bloodbraid Marauder. Go. Draw off the ring, sure. Looks like they're going to bounce their card with Uggin's Labyrinth to get their World Breaker back. I mean, yeah, you've cast a World Breaker. You're still like, oh, you get rid of your 1 ring. Okay, that makes sense. Shifting Woodland can be used to do nothing this turn. Okay, you can't attack. I think you're just dead on board, dude. Like playing that Bloodbraid Marauder turns out was the right play. That's pretty cool. All right, me draw. Go to combat. Attack with all of my things. Guess our opponent couldn't find the ring. That's a bummer for them. But hey, that puts us at 2-0 with this wild deck. Let's get into round number 3. Well, I'm cracked and lucky. I just won my 3rd die roll in a row. I wish this would happen when I played with Max. All right, let's see here. We've got 1 land, 1 cycler, multiple Bloodbraids, Overlord, Subtlety can become a creature in the bin. I think we're keeping this. We're pretty close to critical mass for Bloodbraid Marauder. We just like can never draw our 2nd living end, but it's a pretty low chance that we're going to do that. Oh wait, there's 3 in the deck. We're good. Start on Gemstone, sure. So we're playing against some Eldrazi deck again, so we got to get going fast. Pass to you, opponent. Grove of the Burn Willows. Ancient Stirring? Sure. They take a Sowing Mycospawn. You got it. You can't Utopia Sprawl. You don't have any forests. So let's fetch shock for a, I don't know, Watery Grave get Steam Vents? Watery Grave get Blood Crypt, right? Yeah. Zap, search, Blood Crypt, hand, untap, draw, land, shock, Overlord, try to get Delirium ASAP, trigger the Overlord. I would like to do the thing. I guess we just take Subtlety. That seems pretty good. Yeah, we'll just take the Subtlety. Could also be Halo Forager, just to re-up on Living End in the middle of the game. What if it's that? Well, no, I guess we need, no, we don't need third land, actually, because the Bloodbraid Marauder does it by itself. Notably, we don't actually have, we're not Delulu yet. Since we're not Delirious yet, no, we're going to get Oliphaunt just so we can get a Surveil land to try to make ourselves Delirious if it comes down to it. Yeah, we'll grab that. Okay, opponent, you are up. All right, there's an Eldrazi Temple into a Mycospawn. Yeah, do your thing. All right, come on, deck. Show me the goods. Ooh, that's almost good. Like, that's really close to being good. Is it just good? No, I don't actually have the natural land. If I didn't have to cycle to get land, we could Bloodbraid here pretty easily. But we don't have that freedom. So we probably just go Incubation, get our creature, and then do we cycle Oliphaunt first? Probably. Yeah, let's do it like that. We'll cycle the Oliphaunt, mountain cycling. There's going to be nothing to do with the mana because there's no 1-drops. So when we cycle this, we'll just grab a Surveil land. Let's say Raucous, no, Thundering Falls. Then we'll tap for blue. We'll Surveil after casting the Incubation, and we will grab maybe a blue creature just so they can't like cast some bomb. Nothing. We miss. Rats. Okay, here's a Thundering Falls. Trigger Steam Vents. Do we want that? I think we don't. Unless we were planning to hardcast Subtlety at some point. Maybe we are. What are we going to get back off of a Living End? We're going to get back Oliphaunt, Halo Forager, Fear of Missing Out, and Subtlety, which is a meaningful clock. And I guess we just want like Subtlety up. Yeah, no, maybe we'll just keep this on top, actually. All right, you're up, opponent. Talisman of Impulse is good. Please don't play a ring. Stop tapping your mana. Stop it. Stop it. It's a ring. All right, there's their ring. You get protection and draw and card. Attack me for 3. They don't draw yet, but they're gonna. Let's be honest. Draw their card off the ring. All right, Migo, I am gonna do some meaningful stuff here, I think. There's the Steam Vents. No reason to shock it into play or anything like that. Let's just go red. We probably will at like our second main phase. Let's play the Bloodbraid Marauder. Cascade. Cast Living End. All right. Subtlety, you go on the stack. Do I want a Subtlety my own Bloodbraid Marauder? I don't think so. Halo Forager, you go on the stack. And then Fear of Missing Out goes on the stack. I'm going to discard Living End to draw another land. Halo Forager triggers. I'm going to pay 0. I will target Living End because I have to. And then I will not cast it because all my creatures are already in play. And then Subtlety does its thing, and then Bloodbraid Marauder comes into play, and here we are. And then we're going to go Scalding Tarn, and pass the turn. Overlord does his thing. Now, if we can get Delirium, this is very much lethal if our opponent can't just wipe our board, because the Fear of Missing Out can just give the Oliphaunt 2 combats. That's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 damage. But they can just all dust us, and there goes that. They have to cast another Bloodbraid Marauder. They cast Ancient Stirrings, I assume to try to loop rings. Cozy's Command? Sure. Are we doing a big old Cozy's Command here? We are. So we're going to take out the FOMO and make a billion dudes. Well, I can't stop you if that happens. You have 1 billion dudes. I'm going to fetch at their end step, obviously, for a Surveil land of some kind. Hiya. Let's grab an Undercity Sewers. Surveil? Living End? Don't love seeing the 3rd Living End here. We're going to put it in the bin. Drawing it does us no good. At least putting it in the bin. Well, I guess no, but there's already sorcery. So putting it in the bin doesn't even give us Delirium. Take a draw. There's another FOMO. It's like nothing. I think I want to hold up Subtlety though. Let's just go to combat and swing him with everything. Hiya. You figure it out. Oh, another target creature gets +2/+0 and trample. How about my Bloodbraid Marauder, since you can't block my flyers? With that 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, it's damn near lethal by itself. Okay, you block my Tramplers with 1 each. I'll assign a damage to each of them and you go to 4. And I'm just going to hold up Subtlety now. Okay, seems good. Let's just put this into play tapped and take the 4th time counter off of Overlord of Balemurk, and you go. And then you go to 2 off the ring. Draw 3 off the ring, so you basically have to have ring now, otherwise your own ring kills you. Unless you can attack with like a hasty Ulamog. That'll do it. That might be what's happening here. Here's a Through the Breach. There's Ulamog. Now it has a huge Annihilator. Does it have any evasion, like Trample or anything? No. So I can let them attack. They declare the combat, attack for 14, and then in response to the Annihilator, I'll float all this mana. Okay, Annihilator happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then flash and Subtlety. Trigger Subtlety. Okay, go to blocks. Block it. Okay, now you're just dead to your ring. Ancient Stirring, sure. I guess they can, yeah, they can Ancient Stirrings into another ring and that kills me, I think. Oh, yeah, my Bloodbraid Marauders don't do anything because all of my living ends are in the bin. Oh, but they can't find a ring, so it looks like we just win anyway. Sweet. All right, do we want to sideboard the same way? All right, we're sideboarding in a really similar way to how we sideboarded last game, except we're actually going to drop 2 living ends this time, leaving some of our low mana stuff intact to maybe try to retain some more consistency, but we're still going to have the problem of cascading and the Consign being problematic. I still don't think it's correct to take out the Bloodbraid Marauders, though. Submit. All right, this hand, we have a Consign on our opener, but then it's 2 Archons and an Inevitable Betrayal and an uncastable Flare Denial, so that's a mulligan. This one is land plus Land Cycler plus double Halo Forager Subtlety FOMO. Yeah, we keep this. It looks like we can get Delirium in not too many turns. We'll just pitch the redundant Halo Forager and hope that we're able to Bloodbraid our opponent before they can ring. And then Inevitable Betrayal and flash it back with Halo Forager. This line involves us getting lucky multiple turns in a row, but hey, what else is Moto for? Chalice of the Void on 0? That's pretty bad for me. It looks like I'm stuck on a fair game here. Okay, me on tap and draw. Consign, you were a turn too late, buddy. I'll pass to you, opponent. I guess it wasn't a turn too late. I didn't have any mana. I couldn't cast it. They go land and pass to us, so we are going to island swamp cycle Troll. So we'll get Blood Crypt and we'll fetch and shock for Watery Grave to do it. Just gives us a good spread of colors, separates the colors in a way where we can cast Frog, which to be fair, any sequence of shocks can do, I believe. Cycle, go grab the Blood Crypt. Let's draw a Frog. That would be like decent here. FOMO? I guess we're just like gonna cast FOMO, right? Yeah, I can't think of why I would want to just like hold up Consign just to do nothing with my turn. Let's zap that into play. Let's tap for red and whatever. Cast FOMO. We're going to be discarding a FOMO. It's going to help with Delirium. I don't know how good that is with the Chalice in play, and we have no real way to answer it, but whatever. Pitch FOMO. Draw Steam Vents. And then pass the turn. I guess it helps with Delirium just because like FOMO can make things attack twice, and that's pretty good. All right, that's 2 Eldrazi Temples. You can play like anything now. Reality Smasher. Cozy's Command. Okay. So you're gonna do this Scry Surveil thing and take out FOMO? Sure. That all happens. Okay, they pass to me. We take a draw. What's it gonna be? Another FOMO. I guess we just play that. We can also, we don't need to shock in Steam Vents yet. We'll go red, blue, play FOMO. I think Halo Forager's kind of medium now, but so is, no, I think Bloodbraid Marauder might be worse because I don't think we can ever answer the Chalice. So we'll trigger, pitch Bloodbraid Marauder. I'll never get used to its name. Then we will, I could just fetch for basic. I think I'm just going to shock this turn. Let them be afraid of whatever they think that is and pass. On Gemstone, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. Sowing Mycospawn kicked. Well, I do need, we'll let them search for their land. I don't think I need my mana necessarily. It's nice to be able to flash and Subtlety, but I think I actually just need the Sowing Mycospawn's body to not be in play. So we'll let that resolve. Then I'm going to actually consign the trigger or the spell itself. And maybe they think I took out my Cascaders because I just cast a 1-drop. I didn't, but wishful thinking and all that. My FOMO also has Delirium, which is like not nothing, but this is a pretty poor spot. On tap draw, Persist. Not awful. I can Persist a Troll and hope that that's enough. Okay, let's get in for 2, but really it's 4. Hiya. Trigger 2. Next combat, attack, take 2 more. Then we'll go Polluted Delta. I'm actually going to fetch for Surveil here, just in case I randomly put an Archon into the bin. We'll grab an Undercity Sewers, Surveil. That's an Overlord. Is that somehow better than Troll? It's got 1 less power, but does something every attack. Yeah, I think I'll put that into the bin and persist that. We'll go blue and black. Persist the Overlord of Balemurk. All right, trigger the Overlord. Out of all these cards, what would I like more? I guess I'll take another FOMO. Okay, opponent, you're up. They played another Gemstone without tapping the first one first. I guess they didn't know it was legendary. They have access to 6, 7, 8 Eldrazi mana right now, which is a lot. Like, that's meaningful. Although if they play a body that's too big, I can Subtlety it and try to do Overlord attacking twice things. That would be a total of 10 damage. That's a lot. It's a Devourer. It's another Sowing Myco spawn. So yeah, we are going to Subtlety this. Okay, you got my land. I'm going to cast this by exiling Halo Forager. Subtlety, get that blocker out of my face, please. They put it on the top, sure. Pass to me. Pass to me. We take a draw. We still have Delirium. That's an Inevitable Betrayal. It does not do anything. I guess we can jam our FOMO. What am I afraid of? I don't think jamming FOMO pre-combat does anything, so we'll just go to combat. They could like Cozy's command my FOMO. That would be pretty bad. But at least then I can jam my other FOMO. Looks like they don't, so attack with both. For 6, we'll trigger Overlord, and then we'll trigger FOMO targeting Overlord. Untap it. And then I will use the ability because I don't want this Inevitable Betrayal. Or no, it's not the discard one. What am I talking about? I guess I'll just pick up Subtlety again so we can like keep Subtletying blocker. Thanks, Overlord. And then you take 6. And then we go back to combat and then we attack with the Overlord of Balemurk. Trigger it. I will use the ability. Here we can take, I guess we'll just take Troll to find a land drop and then deal 4 more. Bring you to 3. Then we'll go to our second main phase finally. And we will cycle this Troll, and we'll grab Raucous Theater, I guess, and put it into play tapped. Incubation, Incongruity. Do we want that? I don't think so. What does that do? Anything? I don't think so. We'll just bin it. All right, opponent, you're up. Is it all his dust time? It's the One Ring time. That's a bit stinky. Although at least the One Ring deals an amount of damage to them. Looks like they're just passing, which is fine. I think we're going to do combat anyway, just to trigger my Overlord more and get more cards, right? There's a Marauder. Go to combat. Hiya. Trigger Overlord, trigger FOMO, target Overlord. Okay, I will use the ability. I can get a non-avatar card. Nothing looks particularly good. I guess I'll just take a Psychic Frog. Go to damage, which doesn't even happen. And then we'll go back into combat and attack for 4 again. Thanks, FOMO. We will use the ability. Here we can get another Subtlety, I guess. Yeah, we take another Subtlety. And then no damage happens again, but we've got double Subtlety. We could play Psychic Frog, although I just can't imagine why we'd want to. We're just gonna pass. You're up, opponent. Draw a card off the ring, sure. You got a card. Trigger the ring, take a damage. Oh, draw 2 before taking a damage? That seems really weird. Now you're going to 1. Grove, sure. Now you can make colored mana without hurting yourself, which is huge. So I guess a Through the Breach kills us pretty easily. That would have been a reason to play Frog. No, they would still have enough Annihilator to take out the Frog anyway. They're playing Cozy's command, choose 2. They make a bunch of 0/1s, and then target player scries X and draws a card. Sure. So what is it, like ring or bust here? I mean, with as deep as they're going, it seems likely that they'll find a ring though, right? They went 0 top 5 bottom, so maybe they don't have it. Unless they're breaching us here. I think that kills us depending on what they put into play. Okay, I mean, Through the Breach I don't have an action for, buddy. It resolves. All right, you have a Sowing Myco spawn. They were just hoping I could concede to that. All right, cool. I guess we're 3-0. Our opponent didn't like develop very well in the end game, but it seems like so far this deck at least has like a reasonably okay matchup into Eldrazi. Let's go to round 4. Alrighty, we found an opponent. We did not get lucky enough to win the die roll 4th time in the row, which just makes sense to me. Our hand on the draw is double Bloodbraid Marauder with only Rakdos lands and a bunch of blue cards. This is probably too bad. We just can't keep this. The variant shows its ugly head. We've got a Cycler, but we don't have our first land. So now I think we're mulling to 5. This one has, let's see here, we've got Bloodbraid Marauder, double FOMO, Archon Halo Forager. I think this hand we have to keep. So let's think about this. We're going to get rid of redundant stuff. So we'll get rid of a FOMO. And I think it builds itself, right? We get rid of 1 FOMO, we get rid of 1 Halo Forager. Then we keep Watery Grave plus Mountain, which does make perfect mana. Can't cast a Frog, but we don't have it. Then we can go FOMO into Pitch Archon and like hope it comes together from there. I guess we could like go FOMO plus Pitch FOMO. That gives us Bloodbraid Marauder. That gives our Bloodbraid Marauder 2 hits for Delirium, so that way if you find 1 fetch, we may be able to hit it all at once. And maybe that's better than trying to find like a Persist for Archon. I'm gonna do it that way, and I'm gonna feel really sad if like we rip a Persist off the top. But maybe it's just better to pitch FOMO, right? I'm gonna try that. We'll keep double FOMO, Bloodbraid Marauder, and just try to do that thing. Pitch Halo Forager, pitch Archon. You're up, opponent. Icebreakers. Ow. All right, here's a Plains, here's a Guide of Souls. You got it, buddy. I can't stop you. All right, take a draw step. It's another Bloodbraid Marauder. Who cares? Put that into play tapped. You're up, opponent. Wooded Foothills, tap for 1, play Ocelot Pride. Uh-oh. Trigger the Guide of Souls. You got it. We go combat. We attack for 1. You go to end step. You've gained a life, so you get a kitty cat. Going up to 22 and 2 energy. That seems tough for us. End step, do your stuff. Yep. Kitty cat, gain life, go 22, go 2 energy, me go. Come on, FOMO. All right, there's an island, so that's kind of cool. Mountain, tap, tap, FOMO. And then we're going to discard FOMO because we want to like, maybe we discard a Bloodbraid Marauder? No, I really want to hit 2 hits for Delirium here. So I'm going to pitch the FOMO. Draw Overlord, so that might solve our Delirium problem on its own. Let's pass the turn. They fetch to 21, sure. What would be really tough here would be a Blood Moon. I would not like that. Commercial District, are we playing the Naya version of this deck? That has Safi, Eric's Daughter, and Renegade Rallier in it to do the Goblin Bombardment combo. That would be wild. Galvo Discharge, sure. Got another 1-drop, just a Lush Portico, okay. They could still have another 1-drop, we'll see. Are they to combat attack for 3? Hiya. I mean, I'm taking it. I'm at 16, you gain a life off your Ocelot Pride, so you are going to get another Kitty Cat and another energy, which is not great for me. You're also now only 3 permanents away from the City's Blessing. Come on, deck, we got to get it together right now. Fetch land and to make Delirium into win? Not quite. Okay, let's play the Overlord. All right, Overlord enters and triggers. I will use the ability. Archon in the bin seems really good for us, huh? I guess we're just going to take Halo Forager so we can like do it again if we need to. Yeah. Then we'll play Island and we're going to cross our fingers. Go. Now, unfortunately, we just milled over like a billion creatures, so we still can't do it. We have to hope to like... We still have to hope to draw a fetch land and either surveil into Delirium or like draw Incubation, Incongruity, and that would give us instant sorcery. But our window is closing pretty fast. We could draw like any other land that comes into play untapped, and I suppose we could Overlord, and that would like not guarantee, but get us a pretty good shot at finding Delirium as well. Was every card on top of my deck a creature? It was just 4 creatures in a row. Okay, what else you got, opponent? At least they're not going to Blood Moon us. There's a Birthing Ritual. So they don't have the, whatchamacallit yet, the Goblin Bombardment, but it's pretty tough still. With that Birthing Ritual, I can tell you this is Naya Energy, which is, if you don't know the combo, in a nutshell, go ahead and look up, I'll put them on the screen here too, if I can remember to. If I don't, sorry, the way I edit these is different because these videos are like, we're at 2 hours and 38 minutes right now for the film, and I kind of hack the editing. But it's Safi, Eric's Daughter, and Renegade Rallier loop themselves if they can both die to something. Bombardment's how they die, so they just shoot you infinitely with like a bombardment rotary gun. All right, untap and draw. It's a Blood Crypt, so we have a chance to find the thing. So let's do it. Overlord of the Balemurk, cast for impending, trigger. All right, now there's 5 card types, so it's just gonna work here. I will buy back a creature. In this case, I'll buy back Subtlety. I think I want one in my hand still, just in case. And then we'll shock in Blood Crypt, play the Marauder. Red, red. Cascade into Living End. They're going to get a Guide of Souls out of this transaction, and we technically still could die, but they're going to have less cards than average to complete the combo with. Plus I have a Subtlety. So what is you're tapping for red? What does that do? Show me. I'm dying to see it. Discharge a cat? Sure. You just make a bunch of energy. I see what you're doing. Are you hoping to like kill my Archon? Because oh, you're flipping a Johnny. Sure. All right. You have a flip to Johnny. Can I Living End now? All right. We have triggers. We'll put them onto the stack in whatever order. We're going to target you with the Archon trigger. Subtlety is going to go onto the stack. It's going to target nothing. And then multiple FOMO triggers. The first FOMO will pitch Bloodbraid Marauder, and I'll draw a Psychic Frog. The second FOMO, I think we'll just pitch Psychic Frog, and I'll draw a Living End, sure. Subtlety doesn't do anything. Archon of Cruelty is going to make them sacrifice Guide of Souls and discard a card, and go down to 23. Oh, they sacrificed a Johnny. That's weird. And then Bloodbraid Marauder will come into play. All right, opponent. Good luck. Oh, right. My Overlords lose a time counter. I don't think, regardless of who wins this game, I think it's going to be me at this point, because they only have 1 card left. Oh, but there is a Renegade Rallier in the bin. Crazier things could happen. Like if they have exactly Goblin Bombardment in their hand, and their Birthing Ritual shows them a Safi, I think I still die. No, I guess they probably can't get their Renegade Rallier out easily, right? We might be safe. I'm pretty sure we're going to win. Also, I didn't even realize I drew a Flare of Denial off the Archon, so I'm pretty sure we're just insulated now. The whole reason for that tangent was these Overlords, they're just never going to flip. Windswept Heath, sure. All right, they concede. Yeah, I'm not sure what they're supposed to do from that spot. All right, how do we sideboard? All right, I'm taking a shotgun approach to this. This sideboard doesn't seem super tuned for Boros. Now, this isn't Boros, this is Naya, but it's a very similar game plan. I think we want Leyline of the Void, specifically because the Safi Eric's Daughter combo doesn't work if there's a Leyline in play. Also, they're a creature-centric deck, so we're still doing Living End things, and it stops Living End from being good for them, which seems fine. Also, the One Ring, I feel like if it's not in the sideboard for specifically the Boros matchup, I don't know what matchup it's for. Then we're going to take out a Flare of Denial just because their deck's pretty fast. I don't know where I'm going to have time to like sacrifice a thing. Halo Forager costs 3, and they're more likely to have targeted graveyard removal, like on Licensors, game 2, you know, post sideboard. We're going to cut 2 Fear of Missing Outs just because it's a lightning rod for removal, and I'd rather play a frog in most cases. And we're going to cut an Incubation Incongruity for the same reason we've been cutting one in like every sideboard game. All right, submit. All right, this hand has, well, I've got Psychic Frog and Persist, so that's the combo, plus a Leyline of the Void. I have no action. I also can't cast I totally can cast my Psychic Frog, just not on turn 2. Because I can use Oliphaunt to get the land that I need. Is Double Surveil fast enough with the Persist? I don't know. My deck's not incredibly interactive, so I'm actually just going to keep this and put Leyline in play and see what happens. Because the Frog also puts Living End in the graveyard. I still got 2 Halo Foragers. Arid Mesa, make a 1-drop. There they go. They're doing it. It's a Guide of Souls. Sure, you got it, buddy. All right, I'll take a draw step. It's another Oliphaunt. Let's play an Undercity Sewers tapped. What's that top card? Please be an Archon. It's a Flare of Denial, not quite what we're looking for. We'll bin that, and then we will ship the turn. That was an Archon, like what are the odds we just win on the spot? 100%, maybe a little less, close to 100%. I guess the Leyline of the Voids do stop Phlages. I think this deck still plays Phlage. So that's at least like some extra points for Leyline, which does seem like a weird selection for this deck, this matchup. Windswept Heath, Fetchy Wetch. Please don't play Majani. I'm not ready for an Ajani. Shock and Stomping Ground, sure. It's, yep, there's Safi Eric's daughter. Trigger the Guide of Souls. Now, does this actually stop the combo? What am I thinking of? If a card we put into its graveyard for any exile instead, yep, it is a replacement effect, so they can't like do the combo with all the Leyline triggers on the stack because it's a replacement effect. It's not a triggered ability. Okay, attack with Guide of Souls for 1, bring me to 19. What are my best draws here? I guess if I draw a land to cast the Frog, I'm just doing that. And if I don't, I'm just gonna cycle the Oliphaunt to go get probably a red-black tap land and put it into play tapped and surveil. Seems right. All right, me take draw. All right, there's the thing I shouldn't have said that out loud. Seems like a mistake. Let's go ahead and let's just put a land into play and surveil. Hiya. Incubation, Incongruity. Technically have time to cast this next turn. Although I should have cycled first, huh? Yeah, we're just gonna put it into the graveyard. I just wasted a surveil because I didn't cycle first like a dingus. Don't be like me, do as I say, not as I do, kids. All right, they attack for 3 here. Hiya, ouch. Please don't play a Birthing Ritual, that would suck. Even though like they can't combo us, a Birthing Ritual still like lets them start to churn through creatures really fast. Drannith Magistrate, okay, sure. So I can't cast spells from anywhere other than my hand. Seems reasonable. I guess I'll just persist an Elephant. Maybe it's better to just jam a Frog first though. Mountain cycling, let's grab a Steam Vents and then go to my turn. There's another Leyline, pretty tough here. I think Frog might be a little bit better here. Let's just play let's play Mountain actually. We'll just cycle the Oliphaunt if there's nothing else to do. We'll play Mountain, we'll tap for black, we'll tap for blue. Here's a Psychic Frog. Now my opponent's probably wondering what the hell's going on, because I only saw this deck in one deck drop. I don't know if this is a common deck being played. It's definitely not on the front page of MTG Goldfish, I'll tell you that right now. Ocelot Pride's fine. Guide of Souls triggers is good. Not being able to Living End here is gonna blow for sure. Safi Eric's daughter attacks, they're probably gonna float it. What does that make? They don't float it? What am I missing here? Do they have a burn spell? They must. Like, I think I'm just going for it, right? Like block here, the Frog, discarding Leyline of the Void because I don't need that anymore. Galvanic Discharge, they'll go up to 6 energy. I can actually protect my Frog. No, I can't because of the damage from Safi. Is that like fine? If I max pump my Frog, I can take out Safi, then I can jam an Oliphaunt, but I don't think that's that good. I don't know what else I'm doing. Trade this Psychic Frog for a Safi Eric's daughter, and they'll have to use all their energy, so they can't like float their thing, so my Oliphaunt just controls the ground. I think that's the route we're going. Discard Steam Vents, discard Oliphaunt, and discard Living End. Oh, you know, I guess this doesn't work, because now I don't have enough things. Like, I'd have to pitch this Persist to keep the Frog around, right? That was some bad maths. So now I guess this just happens. At the very least, it like forces them to empty their energy reserve. But now the Drannith Magistrate is very much in the way. Okay, they dealt, oh, they're gonna take a trade. They're gonna keep 1 energy. They could have protected their Safi from this, but I guess they don't want to. Okay, take a trade. End step, Ocelot Pride does its thing. Boy, oh boy, would I kill for an Archon in the bin right now. Me go, me draw. Hi, Archon. Huh. Yeah, let's just persist an Oliphaunt and try to buy some time. Black, red, persist, Oliphaunt is big enough to block everything. Okay, go ahead, opponent. I guess if they play like a Phlage or something, we can just go to game 3. Amped Raptor, that's gonna give them energy. Yeah, I think for the sake of time, I'm just going to concede this game. I think I could stack my deck and it would take me 3 turns to get a critical mass of cards that can fight this, unfortunately. This deck does not play a ton of interaction, and that seems to me like it's by design. I still like the One Ring, especially with their game plan. I think at some point, like drawing a One Ring would be an out. As a matter of fact, maybe that was not that game. Maybe I was a little preemptive. On the play, I probably want like another FOMO back in my deck. Also, maybe Leyline's just like not quite good enough on the play because I lose too much like critical mass. Let's just do that. Let's take these Leylines out and just be wishy-washy about how we sideboard, you know, just like Neon Mushroom does. Pop 2 more FOMOs into my deck, and then maybe like play the Flare of Denial again to try to like not let a Drannith Magistrate resolve ever. Seems right. Okay, let's go. Submit. Okay, I'll play. Let's see here. We've got Frog plus Persist plus a big creature plus Bloodbraid Marauder plus Subtlety. Yeah, we're going to keep this. We'll just open on Surveil and try to use the Subtlety to keep our opponent off of us if we can draw another blue card, but we definitely want to get the Frog into play. That's for sure. But the Frog can enable Delirium very quickly, and hopefully the Subtlety can keep them off of using a Magistrate to stop us from doing our plan. All right, they mulligan to 5, which I love. Main phase 1, Polluted Delta comes into play. I pass to you. All right, we're going to be Shocking and Sacred Foundry, tapping for white. We got a Guide of Souls. Typical. Pass to me. End step fetch. Let's go grab a... It doesn't really matter. Let's do a Undercity Sewers. Trigger. FOMO's cool. I think it's cooler in the graveyard because now Delirium is like imminent. Untap draw. A Halo Forager is pretty cool too. Let's shock in Polluted Delta. Halo Forager lets us Subtlety a potential Drannith Magistrate. So let's just grab a Steam Vents, Shocking into play Psychic Frog, black and blue, and then Psychic Frog in a pinch can pitch Persist to turn on Living End, and then I can pitch everything else but Bloodbraid Marauder and just try to put lethal into play. If it works, it works. Windswept Heath fetch, sure. Shocking a Stomping Stomp, a Johnny. Yeah, you've gotten a Johnny. You make a dude, you get energy, you go to combat, you cannot attack, and we go to my turn. Draw a card. Okay, land drop's kind of cool. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, we're just going to pitch everything, right? We can actually get to combat first, so what we'll do is to the Psychic Frog, we'll pitch Persist. That's also going to turn on Delirium, importantly. And then we will go to combat, we will attack 2, and then before damage, we can exile... Ooh, this was a big mistake, right? Yeah, we just made a gameplay error here. Because we are going to almost certainly take ourselves off of Delirium if we do it this way. How can I fix the misplay I just made? Let's see, do I need to make land drop number 3? Probably not. I really want to reanimate the Overlord of Balemurk, that's for sure. I don't think I'm playing around Endurance anyway. I don't know if this deck can pitch cast an Endurance reliably. So if we want to float the Frog, we pitch Blood Crypt, and we pitch, what, Halo Forager? And then we can get rid of land, Halo Forager, and not touch our Delirium. Yeah, it's not elegant. We don't love it, but it is what it is. And then we will exile 3 cards, and we want to do 1 land, 2 land, plus Halo Forager, and that leaves us with 4 types. And then they take 4, and I get a card draw. I thought too hard about drawing this card to my Psychic Frog that's going to go to the graveyard anyway, just not very smart. Take a draw. It's the One Ring. Makes me feel bad for losing my 3rd land. But let's pitch the Overlord of the Balemurk, and let's pitch the Subtlety. Cast Bloodbraid Marauder and hope we don't find out that they play Endurance. Cast Living End. All right, it just works. Overlord of the Balemurk triggers, Subtlety triggers. Subtlety, I think I will... Do I use it? Yeah, I'm going to bounce the Bloodbraid Marauder, just in case things get out of hand. All right, then all the triggers resolve. FOMO, unfortunately, is going to have me pitch my One Ring. But on the bright side, that turns Delirium back on, which is sweet. There's Incubation, Incongruity. I get my Bloodbraid Marauder back. I'll put it on top. That way if our opponent can like wiggle their way out of this, I can just do it again. And then Overlord triggers, and it's going to put it into the bin so I can pick it up. Psychic Frog, FOMO, or Bloodbraid Marauder. My graveyard looks pretty decent right now. I think I'm just going to take Bloodbraid Marauder because my Overlord's going to keep filling the bin. All right, you're up, opponent. Being delirious means that this is actually just lethal. I can attack twice with Overlord. They die. They concede. That was not an elegant way I played game 3, but it worked, and that puts us at 4-1. I guess it's going to round 5 and try to like squeeze out a 5-0 we just straight up don't deserve. All right, we won the die roll for game 5, putting us at 4 out of 5 die rolls won. That's lucky. Let's be on the play. This hand has imperfect mana. I cannot cast Incubation, Incongruity. I do not have a cycler. This is a mulligan, I think. Unless we just want to count on Overlord of Balemurk being insane, but I think that's loose and narrow. Let's mulligan. This is the classic multiple cyclers, 0 lands hand. So yeah, we probably put this back for 5 and feel bad about it. Our opponent also kept 7, so that's not great. This has a land, 1 land, just 1, and many Marauders. If we find our second land drop, we might be okay. Let's put back 2 of our 3 Marauders. Planning to surveil. We need red and black, so we're gonna forego blue, but then blue could also get us a cycler. So I think we're gonna plan to get blue and black and draw red as our next source. So we're gonna use Polluted Delta to fetch for Undercity Sewers to try to find our next land drop. At least Incubation and Incongruity gives us a good part of the way to Delirium, because with Bloodbraid Marauder, this fetch in Incubation and Incongruity, we're at Delirium 3 with the Bloodbraid Marauder. So the things we need to do is achieve a red source and achieve Delirium. And then bonus points if we can get like this Archon into the bin, then maybe we can steal this game even on a mole all the way down to 5. Misty Rainforest, pass to me. Pass to me. Undercity Sewers. Trigger. Anything but a land goes to the bin. Graveyard it. Me go. Take a draw. Okay, let's see if we can find a cycler. Blue. Incubation. We do not find it, so now we are clenching and hoping. Go ahead, opponent. I think we keep that 5 every time, though. Like, I think it's about a coin flip with the Incubation plus the Surveil with the amount of mana sources left in our deck. So I liked our odds being on 5. They Surveil with a Hedge Maze. Please don't tell me this is Living End round 2, Electric Boogaloo. Oh, Mox Amber, it's probably Breach. Grinding Breach. Did our opponent do the same thing as us? Looks like yes. Either that or they're doing an intentional strategic discard, which seems weird. They pitched the 1 ring. Okay, we'll take a draw. All right, looks like we're just going to sit here and do nothing with each other. Well, this is anticlimactic. On the bright side, in 2 more draw steps, I'll be able to pitch my Archon of Cruelty. The hand size. All right, you go to clean up. I'll draw for turn. Hiya. Found a land. Love to see it. All right, let's shock in this Blood Crypt. And yeah, let's play a Overlord of Balemurk. Hiya. Bloodbraid's not good, obviously, because there's nothing to reanimate. What costs 1? You can't spell snare this. All right, Overlord does its thing. Trigger. I will use the ability. I will get my Bloodbraid Marauder. Still not a lot of creatures. I guess I should have gotten my Troll, huh? That was a punt. Oh well. We'll keep playing Magic until morale improves. I guess we can just keep overlording and filling our graveyard up for Bloodbraid Marauder. Hopefully that's good enough. But yeah, if we took that Troll, we could have like cycled it and then jammed another one. So we could have made our land drop along the way, which would have been better. Haywire Might's fine. Okay, pass to me. Pass to me. Take a draw. Never punished. Never punished. Let's go with a Bloodstained Mire. What are the chances? Pretty low, right? I was thinking about like play Halo Forager and have it to sacrifice to Flare of Denial in the event there's a Force of Negation. But I think that that's silly because my graveyard's not big enough for a Living End to be particularly good right now. So I'm going to cast Overlord. Trigger. I will use the trigger. What do we got? Really, no creatures again, huh? Oh, I guess there's an Overlord in there. That's pretty good. Well, I'm going to take the Troll. And then I guess we just pass and cycle the Troll again, right? We can like fetch for basic whatever. I think mountain or swamp works fine. And then use the Troll to like cycle to grab like some Surveil land or something to get another blue source. And with the speed that this game is going, these Overlords actually look kind of terrifying. Our opponent found their land. That doesn't bode well for us. Springleaf Drum is fine. Oh, they're recovering. Stop. Don't recover. All right, end step. Fetch for a source. I guess we're never getting Blood Mooned, right? So we can just actually fetch for Deem Vents and shock it into play. Just make sure my mana's good. And then add blue and swamp cycle this and grab, I don't know. This one can grab basic swamp, I guess. And my turn. Take a draw. It's a Psychic Frog. Play swamp. Now, what happens here is I play Psychic Frog and then our opponent spell snares it because I'm almost certain that they have it. Alternatively, I could just jam Halo Forager and see if that just sticks in play and then I can flashback. I guess I can't flashback what is it? Not Incongruity, but the other one, Incubation. The Incubation, I think, when is being read by a Halo Forager is actually a 4-drop. If I could get a frog into play, I could put a Archon in the bin and that would be really good. But I don't think I just want to play into a Spell Pierce here. A way around that would just be to jam Halo Forager here. Because I don't know that this deck plays Counterspell. I don't think it does. It would also insulate me against a possible kill from them. Let's just do that. Halo Forager can't spell snare it. And there's nothing I can hit, right? There's like a Persist, but we're not doing that today. Done. Ooh, what is this pointing at? I can Living End here? I forgot that was there. Does Living End make sense? I can get an Overlord, Troll, and they can get nothing. Yeah, I guess I can't counter anything with my Halo Forager if I do it that way. And they can also sacrifice their Haywire Might and get it back to take out my Overlords. Maybe that's just like not that good. That said, if they do take out one of my Overlords with Haywire Might right now, it'll just get reanimated by Living End. So I think I'm just gonna go for it. All right, cast this. You've tapped for green. All right, you exile target, not whatever. What did you exile? Oh, it exile. So yeah, I guess I don't get that back from Living End. So that was a punt on my part. Now, if they have the win, we can't Flare of Denial. Seems poor. Thundering Fall, sure. Okay, Living End happens. I get Overlord, whose ability I will use. Now I've got infinite everything in the bin. I guess I'll pull back a Halo Forager to my hand. All right, well, that was clunky, but it's what I got. Pass. Trigger the Overlord of Balemurk. It loses a counter. Tap for 2 for a Mumble. Yeah, that's fine. What do we get? Underworld Breach, Tamiyo, Inquisitive Student, Scalding Tarn, and Urza's Saga. I don't think any of that's too bad for me just yet. I don't think they can do a Breach kill just yet. They chose Scalding Tarn. Key. There's a Grinding Station, but no Breach. Okay. Is it me go time? Okay, me on tap. Me draw. Incubation's like fine. I don't think I need to use it right now. Probably just go to combat first. Attack with everything. Fill the graveyard up some more. Hiya. Trigger the Overlord. I'm going to use the ability. What do I want to get back? How about a Subtlety? All right. You want to block this? You want to use your Haywire Might to kill something? All right. Looks like they're letting all that happen. We're going to go to our second main phase. And now I am just going to, what's in your graveyard? You get a Tamiyo plus, that's it. And you can crack your Haywire Might. Yeah, I come out ahead with this. So we are going to play a Bloodbraid Marauder. Cascade. Then we're going to play Psychic Frog. Maybe. Here's the Living End. Cast it without paying its mana cost. How do we feel about this? You fetch, sure. You shock, you're at 6. Green, what does that mean? Sure, sacrifice, exile one of my things, go up to 8, go down to 5 off the Archon trigger. I like it. Okay, Overlord, I will have to mill, so that means I'll be using the ability. Archon, target this opponent. Halo Forager, do your thing. All right, FOMO triggers, I'm gonna pitch Archon. Draw a Living End, so we're not doing that again, it looks like. I'm gonna pay 0 for Halo Forager, right? I could cast Living End. I'm not going to do that. Well, if I cast Living End, what happens? Archon comes in and it's not that good. Maybe that's actually fine. Am I supposed to cast Living End again? Is that where we're at? Because then they're not going to have any creatures, so they're not going to be able to use a Mox Amber for mana. And I'm going to get Archon back plus Troll Overlord. No, I think that's fine. I think I will cast Living End. What does that not let me do? Because I'm going to cast Psychic Frog so I can still Flare of Denial. Yeah, I'll do it. And that's on the stack on top of the, so they sacrifice Haywire Might, sure. That's on the stack on top of the Archon trigger, so they won't be able to get their Tamiyo back off of it. They use Grinding Station, sure. I'll use Overlord of the Balemurk. I'll allow the Grinding Station trigger to resolve. I will, there's a Haywire Might, sure. I get another Subtlety. You go up to 9, Overlord triggers. I will use the ability. What do we see? What do we see? I'll just take another Psychic Frog, I guess. Archon triggers, you go down to 6. I draw another Psychic Frog, Overlord of the Balemurk triggers. I guess I'll use the ability. I'm gonna go to discard anyway. I'll take a third Subtlety. Okay, now I have a Marauder. And then I'll go blue, black. Here's a Psychic Frog. A blue card to sacrifice to Flare of Denial. I'm gonna go to end step and discard whatever. Let's pitch Bloodbraid Marauder, Living End. I don't know. How about a Halo Forager? All right, go. Good luck. There's a Shifting Woodland. Underworld Breach. Let's cast by sacrificing a non-token blue creature. This Psychic Frog will do. Malevolent Rumble. Sure. There's a spawn. All right, we win game 1. The deck just kind of happened to me that game. I don't feel like I took any like very meaningful action. Stuff just happened. All right, how do we sideboard? All right, here's what we're doing for sideboard. We're just kind of trimming a bunch of stuff for cards I think might be good. FOMO, kind of clunky. They're going to have removal. The Breach deck usually plays removal akin to what we used to see out of Blue-Red Murktide. Persist is a one-of. Incubation and Incongruity is a one-of. Halo Forager is a one-of. Subtlety is a one-of. They're just a little bit clunky, and I don't want to shave too much because we're a combo deck, kind of. We're going to bring in forward Leyline of the Voids because it cuts them off of their combo. Obviously, they can Haywire Might and stuff, but hopefully it slows them down. And Magebane Lizard, as I understand it, should kill them if they try to combo us without killing the Magebane Lizard. Also, Magebane Lizard's a 1/4. Whenever a player casts a non-creature spell, it deals damage to that player equal to the number of non-creature spells they've cast this turn. The Breach combo involves casting a lot of spells. Alright, let's go. Alright, this hand has good mana, a Psychic Frog, things to do on every turn. No payoff, we just got like good setup. And I think I'm going to keep a hand with good setup. Obviously, keeping a hand without Leyline means that Leyline is a potential draw for the rest of the game, but I can also it can wind up in my graveyard because of Overlords and stuff too, so we'll see what happens. There's a Tamiyo, you got it, buddy. Mishra's Bauble, sure. Pass to me. No second Bauble, meaning that if they want to flip their Tamiyo next turn, they have to tap out, which is kind of nice. My turn. You gonna Bauble me on my upkeep or at end step? Upkeep, got it. All right, I draw a Polluted Delta. Here, that didn't do anything for you. Let's cast Incubation, Incongruity. We'll go grab a Watery Grave. Blue, Incubation, using blue. Show me gas, Psychic Frog or Archon? I've already got a Psychic Frog. I guess I could take an Archon to try to like leverage it into my graveyard to win a little bit quicker if possible. Alternatively, I can just play a frog game. Maybe that's just better. Like get multiple frogs into play. Try to just like maintain advantage over my opponent. I think we'll do that. Just take Psychic Frog and then pass turn. If they want to flip their Tamiyo, it's gonna let me jam a frog unless they have like a Subtlety or something. There's an Amber. I suppose there's a world in which we could just die here. Attack with Tamiyo, make a clue. I take 0 because Tamiyo doesn't have any power. Could you imagine if they just made Tamiyo like a 1/3? There's Emery, so now it's looking a little bit dark. It looks like they're nearly at the critical mass they need to Breach combo us. Grinding Station is also in the bin. Yeah, this game's probably going to go poorly for us. There's always game 3 though, but we'll keep playing this one just in case they randomly can't find a piece of their combo. We can almost Bloodbraid Marauder our opponent. If we can hold out for one more turn, we can do it. So we should probably play the Psychic Frog and see if it doesn't get spell snared. Let's get a Blood Crypt and just try to make a frog. If it works, we're going to pitch a bunch of stuff and just try to cascade on our opponent. Of course, with that Emery, the potential of a Mox Amber, it's going to be lights out pretty quick. All right, they got a Hedge Maze on end step. And what am I talking about? If they can get a Mox Amber, it's already in play. I think they're literally just a Breach away from winning the game. Mountain, grab that Grinding Station, cast it. So what do they need now? They need exactly Breach plus one other Mox Amber, and that should be good enough. And they're going to be able to get a good amount of the way there, because the Grinding Station can get rid of the Mox Amber. Then they just have to be able to Emery it back into play. We'll see. If they're going to win, they're just going to win. All right, there's another Amber. That can't be good. And there's an Underworld Breach in the bin. Tough. Ooh, there's a Swan Song in their bin. I didn't know they played that card. What are we doing here? Just passing? Okay, so they probably have some type of interaction up. So let's draw Flare of Denial. Not quite. Okay, I'm not going to attack with the frog. I think I'm just going to do my plan because they're so close to the combo anyway. We'll play a land for posterity, and then I'm just going to pitch a million cards to my frog and see if it's just good enough. Overlord of the Balemurk to frog. For Overlord of the Balemurk to frog. Let's do Oliphaunt to frog. I could cycle it, but I've got enough lands as it is. And then frog to frog. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to win the game off of hard casting a frog next turn. All right, can you stop me? Or does this work? Bloodbraid Marauder, Cascade. Cast Living End. Mill, sure. Okay, how about this Living End though? Okay, that just worked. Interesting. Overlord triggers. Let's see if I can get a Subtlety. There goes one of my Flares of Denial. We'll take a Halo Forager, I think, off this first one. Let the second one resolve. I will use it. Do you see a Subtlety? No. I'll just take another Psychic Frog, I guess. That's like fine. Bloodbraid Marauder comes into play. This is highly lethal next turn, so they have to either kill me or answer all my stuff. Good luck, opponent. And the way this deck works, I'm not a good Breach player, but I've lost to it my fair share. There's a reasonable chance they can kill us here, I believe. If I know what I think I know, we could die here. They need a critical mass though, and I think it starts with casting Underworld Breach. There it is. Now this makes them infinite mana, I believe. Well, no, they need a legendary creature, so they're Amber taps for mana, right? Now they can Breach back, what, let's say Tamiyo or Emery, they both work. There's Emmy. You mill 3, 4, 3. Okay, now you can sacrifice Mox Amber to mill 3, and now they can keep playing that same Mox Amber out of the graveyard, exiling 3 every time, and float blue mana until they can Thoracle me by milling themselves. Yeah, we're not going to make them do it. That's just going to burn their clock for no reason. All right, let's begin sideboarding. I still think I'm pretty okay with the way my sideboard was set up. I could try Mystical Dispute instead of Magebane Lizard, but ultimately if I had a Magebane Lizard in play at the time that they did that, I probably would have got there anyway, so let's just submit. Would I like to play first? Yeah. All right, this one has a Flare of Denial and like a Living End in it, which is weird. I don't have any action, but I can get the Leyline of the Void into play and start looking for action, I guess. Is this even close to good enough? I don't think that it is. No, I don't think I can keep this just off of a Leyline. We're gonna mulligan. This one is making me wish I'd kept the first one. This is 0 lands, 0 cyclers, so we're going to 5. This one has lands and Overlord and Incubation. I think we have to keep this one. We want to be able to cast a Frog at some point, so maybe we're supposed to get rid of the Mountain, but then we can't play a turn 1 play, which seems weird. That said, we might not need the Incubation on turn 1, so maybe we just get rid of Mountain plus Overlord. Yeah, we're gonna try that. Done. Lead on Thundering Falls. Don't love being down on 5 on the play, but I think this deck has like a variant issue too, if I had to take a guess. Sometimes you're worried about drawing the wrong half of your deck. This deck, you're worried about drawing like the wrong 5th of it, depending on what your hand plan is. Thundering Falls, Surveil, Psychic Frog, well, put on top. That's how I'm going to try to stabilize. Go, Tammy. Mishra's Bauble. Float blue, play Mishra's Bauble. Sure, dude. You used your blue for no reason. That was weird. My turn. I'll draw. All right, let's shock and Watery Grave and make our Frog. You're up, opponent. They play land and pass. What does that mean? What is our opponent's plan here? Kind of weird. Me just take draw. Oliphant's pretty cool. Let's go to combat and just attack for 1. See if they have anything. Looks like no. All right. Go to 19, I'll draw a card. All right, I already played Frog last turn, but now I have the opportunity to make a land drop as well. I'm just going to disregard my life total, I think, and just make sure my mana's perfect. So let's Mountain Cycle here, grab a Blood Crypt, and then shock that into play, and see if they have a spell snare for the FOMO. FOMO. All right, FOMO enters and triggers. I think I value blue card plus pitch for subtlety. I'm just gonna pitch the Overlord and like get kind of close to delirium. I'll be delirious once I cast Incubation. So we get an island, sure. That'll be, we can hard cast subtlety next turn. All right, we've got things. They fetch. Tap Stomping Ground, no commercial district. There's no way it's in your hand. Bauble me, sure. Draw off Bauble, draw for a turn. Another Bauble, sure. Malevolent Rumble, that's fine. Pass to me. I wonder if they need that Eldrazi spawn to, you know, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna make sure my Psychic Frog can attack twice. And if I only draw 1 card to it, so be it. Because all I have to do is cast Incubation Incongruity. I'll even play a land first. Island, tap it, Incubation. Cast Incubation. I've got Enchantment Creature. This gives me instant sorcery. That is a Magebane Lizard. I feel like that's what I take. Then I go to combat and attack, trigger FOMO, pointed at the Frog. All right, your go, opponent. Want to block with your Eldrazi Scion or spawn? Sure, I'll kill it. All right, damage. All right, let's attack again. Hiya, Psychic Frog. Trigger Psychic Frog to draw a card. There's a land. Can't play it. I already played land for turn, but that's fine because now we can play for a red and a whatever. Magebane Lizard. All right, I don't think they can combo through that. You're up. Yeah, crack Bauble's fine. Tarn. Grinding Station, target the Magebane Lizard. Sure. If I said target, I meant trigger Magebane Lizard. All right, Grinding Station doesn't do a lot with the Magebane in play. You must have some type of removal. I imagine this deck plays on Holy Heat because of how easily they can get a hold of Delirium. Passing to me. Are you just going to let me kick your teeth in some more? That's wild. That's honestly wild to me. Leyline of the Void's hilarious. Can I just kill you if I pitch everything to the Frog? That would be 5, 10, 11, 12, 13 damage? Not quite. So we're just going to go to combat. Hiya. Trigger FOMO, target the Frog. Untap my Frog. Go to, I guess we're gonna pitch a card to the Frog. I can't think of a reason I need this Polluted Delta. Damage. I draw a card off the Frog. We go to next combat. I guess I can just pitch another card to the Frog. Punished for it? I don't think so. Let's just pitch Bloodstained Mire. Take 3. Trigger the Frog, draw a card. Another Magebane Lizard. I think I'm just gonna play Leyline of the Void. See if they have something for it. Black, blue. That way if they want to like try to breach combo us, not that they can throw a Magebane, but this makes it even easier to stop. I'll take 1 to my Magebane Lizard. Leyline of the Void. It doesn't exile the graveyard, that's important. So they could like tap their Grinding Station. Force of Negation, sure. Magebane Lizard triggers and hits them for 1. That's exiled. You're up, opponent. So now I'm going to need my Subtlety to stop like a legendary creature from coming into play maybe. And that's if the Magebane Lizard doesn't do all the work for me. I don't know how I lose, but if I do, we're about to find out how it happens. I suspect our opponent's going to like die to this though. I hope our opponent's going to die to this. That's my whole plan. I could like play the ring, I guess. That's like a thing. If they do that, I just jam like second Magebane Lizard and they can't cast a spell, right? Underworld Breach, trigger Magebane Lizard. Is there a way to kill my Magebane in their graveyard? There's like not. Resolves, take one. I'm gonna be so mad if I would have won if I would have played my second Magebane Lizard. Play Mox Amber, trigger Magebane, take two. All right, you can't cast anything but a creature now. Emery, all right, I'm just gonna subtlety that. I would like you to not cast Emery, pretty please. Okay, I guess we 5-0 with this list. I feel like I had no clue what I was doing the entire league, but we still won every game. So maybe try this out. Max just picked up FOMOs and the, what do you call them? The overlords for the channel and for us to play out in the wild. So I'll probably take this to a couple FNMs and that'll be sweet. Also, I am going to start letting people know because it's not coming up till I think April, but one of the local teams around here that I'm not a part of, but I'm affiliated with, mostly because I just won't communicate or participate with them because I do enough Magic stuff over here, but they're great guys and they're running a charity event. It's basically a bunch of the players are throwing into this giant pot for prizing and they do it every year. And this year they're going to allow me to record it and potentially stream it. I'm not sure what we're doing, but I'm doing coverage of it. Either I'm going to do my table or I'm going to pick table one and just do that one because I'm going to be playing in the event as well. And I think that would just be really cool. And if I don't play in the event, it's because I'm actually streaming it. So we'll see what happens there. But that's going to be really cool. And I think we're going to put that content up on this channel. So start getting excited for that, I guess. I just wanted to share that because it's a cool thing that's happening in my community. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, I'll see you next time.